What's up everybody, in this video we're gonna replicate an effect from the new Lil Tecca Bossanova music video directed by Omar Jones. Let's get it. Alright everybody, so you just saw the effect. I try to recreate it as similar to the original effect in the video. Since this video is a tutorial, we're gonna jump in the computer and I'm gonna show you how it's done in After Effects. Alright, so we're now in After Effects where we're gonna replicate the effect from the Bossanova music video directed by Omar Jones. And as you can see, we have two clips on our timeline. Make sure for now to ignore the second clip. You're not gonna use that in this pre-comp. The first step is make sure you shoot a clip with some sort of frame inside a frame. For instance, in their music video, they used a mirror. In my video, I used a window from a car. So once you have executed the first step by shooting the clip, make sure to import that into After Effects and make sure to cut out the frame within your frame. For me, that's the window, so I'm cutting that out with a mask and then subtracting that mask. And once you're done drawing your mask, make sure to feather it a little bit just to make it a little bit more realistic. Then make sure to turn your layer into a 3D layer and add a 3D camera to your scene and select the 50mm option. Now that you have your 3D camera in your scene, go to Views, select two views and select the top view and the active camera view, where you can see a top view of the 3D scene and just your regular active camera. What you then want to do is duplicate your layer, go to the position, add 1000 to the Z position and scale the layer down with 10%. Of course, all these values can be different. They will work for you if you copy these values, but it's all personal preference at the end. This whole process of duplicating, changing the Z position, changing the scale, you want to be repeating for around 7 or 8 times depending on your shot and the length of it. That's why we chose some very easy values such as 1000 and 10%, so you can replicate this very easily without having to do quick maths or anything else. So you can repeat this very quickly and very simple, so you can stay consistent with the look of the effect. Talking about consistency, for the last two duplicates of the shot, I used some different values, so it was a little further away, because that's what I saw in the original effect. I personally don't think you have to do this. I think you can just stick to your initial values. Okay, the scene is looking good already with all the duplicates made. Now we want to animate our camera movement. You do this by setting your first keyframe, then going to the end of your effect, or where you want the effect to end, and then change the position of the camera where it flies through all the objects. You might have to lower or make the camera a little bit higher so it flies through all the frames. Next step is keyframe interpolation. Select all your keyframes, hit F9 to add an easy ease effect, and then click on this little graph button. If your graph looks something like this, go to your menu down below and click on Edit Speed Graph. And by changing this graph, you can change how fast your camera accelerates or slows down, or both. Once you have done that, you can see the progress we have made so far. It's starting to look really nice. Okay, one of the last steps, we're grabbing the composition we have just worked in and drag it into a new composition, essentially pre-comping this composition. We are then gonna grab the clip that we want to transition into, pull it below the layer we have just worked on and pre-comped, and scale the layer that we just imported down. Then we're gonna be adding a fast blur effect to that clip and animating it from 40% to 0%. Then we're gonna be playing around with the scale and the position of the clip that we're transitioning into, making it scale up with the rest of the effect and adding some sort of bounce. The last step now is to add lens distortion and a trill effect, which we're gonna do in a separate pre-composition. I added the optics compensation effect for the lens distortion. I animated it to peak midway during the transition. I then added a trill effect and keyframed it the same way as the optics compensation effect. And as you can see, the layer that we're transitioning into is already on the clip and in the pre-comp. We're later gonna remove that one and add it below the layer that we just created, so it's not affected by the trill and the lens distortion effect. And here you can see that I'm copying the shopping cart clip with the effects on it to the most recent pre-comp and dragging it below the other layer. And here you can see the effect is almost done. I will always be tweaking keyframes a little bit or the velocity, stuff like that. And for the last step, I will pre-comp this composition again and add an overall scale effect of around 10%. Adding a simple movement like this at the end can really do a lot for your shot because it really blends everything together. Alright everybody, so here you can see the final effect. I'm really pleased with how it came out. I later found out that they had some sort of depth of field on the camera, so you can always turn that on. I don't see a major difference because of all the motion blur, but I still think it looks very good. Alright everybody, so that wraps up the video. I'm curious to see what you guys learned from this technique and make with this. So send me a DM if you make something with this technique. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching this video and hope to see you in the next one. Bye!